The most venomous hatred in the world is having everything yet feeling nothing but regret. You never once truly cared for my foolishness. I was utterly, hopelessly in love with Bianca Reed. To convince her to marry me, I even agreed to fulfill 100 of her wishes. These 100 wishes subjected me to endless humiliation and disgrace. They even led to my parents' estrangement and the ruin of my family. It wasn't until Bianca said her 100th wish was to bear a child for her first love that I realized I'd been played for a fool. After I was reborn, Bianca found me again. Ethan, the 100th wish isn't complete yet, she said. I don't want to have a child with Justin Burke anymore. I want to marry you. Meeting her hopeful gaze, I offered a subtle smile and nodded. All right, I said. As long as you arrange for Justin Burke's legs to be broken, I'll marry you. At my words, the hope in Bianca's eyes transformed into an expression of utter disbelief. Ethan, what did you just say? My smile remained, but my eyes had grown cold. Miss Reed, you heard me correctly, I replied. Don't you want to marry me? You can. Just have someone break Justin Burke's legs, and I'll go to the courthouse with you tomorrow to get our marriage license. Watching her stunned expression, I stared directly into her eyes. What's wrong? Are you reluctant? For you, I already fulfilled 99 wishes. For you, I defied my parents and destroyed my family's entire business. In the end, I even lost my own life. Last lifetime, I walked 99 steps toward you. Now, there's only one step left between us. Are you unwilling to take even that last step, demanding that I always be the one to come to you? Or is it that you truly loved Justin Burke all along, and I was merely a backup option, a diversion for you to experience a different life? No, it's not like that. Ethan, listen to me, she pleaded. Last lifetime, I truly didn't keep my promise, but you were dead. Was I supposed to marry your ashes if I didn't marry Burke? I am a Reed, after all, and I had to consider my family's reputation. Besides, if I hadn't married Burke, my appearance, my figure, my social graces, my good virtues, and even my soul would have been ruined. Ethan, didn't you love me most? Wouldn't you be happy if I were living a happy life? Her absurd words made my blood boil. I grabbed her by the neck. And what about me? Was my family's reputation worthless? Was I supposed to sacrifice everything I had for the sake of your happiness with him? You said you had a complex and needed me to fulfill 100 wishes to overcome it so you could marry me without regrets. Was that not what you said? Have you forgotten how you tormented me? I revolved around you, protecting you from every storm. To please you, I even barked like a dog in front of your friends. You even made me book the hotel room when you and Justin Burke went there. Where were you when I fell out with my parents? Where were you when Burke ruined my family's company? Where were you when creditors beat me to death? My grip on her neck tightened. You were in Justin Burke's bed, trying every trick to please him, hoping he'd bless you with a child. Did you think of me then? Gasping for air, she clawed at my arms, forcing out a choked, I'm sorry. I shoved her away, sending her crashing against the wall behind her, her face twisted in pain. Get out. Don't ever appear before me again. Once I deal with Justin Burke, I'll come for you. The Reed, Foster, and Burke families were the leading trade companies in the country. The Reed Group, Bianca Reed's family company, was the largest, followed by the Foster Group, and Justin Burke's Burke Enterprises was merely a newcomer. Foster and Reed had long-standing collaborations, so Bianca and I grew up together. We were childhood sweethearts, and I had no eyes for any other woman, convinced that she was the one I would marry. Unexpectedly, Justin Burke appeared out of nowhere and snatched her away. In just 1 year of college, he had completely captivated Bianca, who even lost her virginity to him in his beat-up sports car. I desperately tried to win her back, even pleading with her to reconsider by showing her our family's engagement contract. But she claimed she couldn't abandon her true love and insisted I complete 100 tasks for her before she would agree to marry me. Looking back now, it was clearly a setup orchestrated by Justin Burke. Yet, blinded by infatuation, I readily agreed to his outrageous demands. Thus, through his repeated boundary-pushing and obedience tests, I abandoned my principles, my bottom line, and even my family, willingly becoming his loyal dog. Even when he and Justin Burke were spending a passionate night together at a hotel, I had to book the room in advance and then wait downstairs in my car. Finally, Justin Burke grew tired of the game and had Bianca tamper with a collaborative project between the Reed and Foster companies. Taking advantage of my unconditional trust, he shifted all the debt from both families onto the Foster Group. leading to my family's ruin and immense debt. But when I found Bianca, she disregarded my plight and, with a blissful expression, told me that her 100th wish was to have a child with Justin Burke. At that moment, my heart completely died. The creditors, refusing to believe my family's downfall, tied me up in the suburbs and tortured me, demanding repayment of the debts. With nowhere left to turn, I called Bianca, begging her to save me, but what I heard through the phone was Justin Burke's heavy breathing and Bianca's joyful moans. Not yet. The 100th wish isn't fulfilled. I haven't conceived Burke's baby yet. If I help you now, what would be the point of our agreement? Bianca's voice, a mix of pain and pleasure, echoed through the receiver. Ethan, just hold on a little longer. I have something very important to do right now. I'll hang up for now. Heartbroken, I was beaten to death by the creditors. When I opened my eyes again, I was back at the beginning. The Foster Group was still a pillar of domestic and international trade. My parents were still alive and well. Bianca Reed and Justin Burke were still madly in love. And those 100 wishes had yet to be fulfilled. I had been given a second chance. Enough time to correct my mistakes. But what I didn't expect was that Bianca Reed had also been reborn. And the first thing she did was come to me to declare her feelings, saying she loved me, she was sorry, and she wanted to marry me. Didn't she understand? An apology after causing harm is an insult. You've done all this, and now you say you're sorry. Bianca Reed still didn't know that what she thought was spilled water had already become a raging tsunami. Perhaps I'd scared her, for she fled in a panicked, distraught rush, as if she'd seen something terrifying. She probably couldn't comprehend why the man who had loved her so fiercely had suddenly become so cold and cruel. Before, when I loved her, I'd pay attention to jewelry at auctions and the daily weather forecast. Now that I no longer loved her, I occasionally paid attention to handy blunt objects and iron bars. So, although Bianca Reed fled quickly, she returned just as fast. The next day, she stormed into my office, her eyes red, glaring at me as if I were her enemy. Burke had both his legs broken last night and is now in the hospital. Ethan, why did you do that? Watching her eyes filled with rage and the distorted lines on her face, I suddenly found the woman before me utterly boring. Miss Reed, I said, what evidence do you have to prove that Justin Burke's legs were broken by me, or by someone I sent? Bianca Reed met my gaze without flinching. If not you, then who? Didn't you threaten me yesterday, saying you wouldn't marry me unless I broke his legs? Don't tell me you forgot so quickly. Ethan, I know you don't like Burke, but he was my husband. After all, even if he hurt you, you shouldn't have done this to him. I found it laughable. Bianca Reed, weren't you crying to me yesterday, saying you wanted to marry me? How can you be so concerned about Justin Burke today? You're concerned for him. Can I interpret that as you can't let him go at all? That everything you told me yesterday was just a game? No, I wasn't playing games. Bianca Reed immediately panicked. Ethan, maybe you won't believe me, but what I'm about to say is absolutely true. After you died last lifetime, there wasn't a single day I didn't think of you. I saw you in my dreams almost every night. I don't know what was wrong with me. Even after I had 2 children with Burke and our married life was very happy, I still couldn't forget you. In fact, the feeling grew stronger and stronger. The more I tried to suppress it, the more it forced its way to the surface. Tears streamed from her eyes. Ethan, I know you still hate me and blame me. I also know that if you didn't love me, you wouldn't be treating me this way now. In this lifetime, I don't want 100 wishes. I just want you. Let's be like we were when we played house as children. I'll be your wife, and you'll be my husband, okay? My voice was utterly devoid of emotion, looking at her as if she were a sculpture made of scraps. If you marry me, what about your Burke? Bianca Reed closed her eyes, clearly struggling internally. Then she opened them, as if she had made a decision. I've thought about it. I did love him, but I've realized I love you most. Last lifetime, I married him and was his loving wife for a lifetime. This lifetime, I want to compensate you for what I owe you, to let you experience the joy of marrying me. I unconsciously laughed, realizing that sometimes people truly do laugh when they are speechless. She didn't notice my reaction, her face still earnest. Ethan, our families have an engagement contract. I am your fiancé now. I will marry you, and I'm marrying you because I love you, but that doesn't mean I don't care about Burke. So I hope you can step forward, admit your mistake, actively apologize to Burke, and take responsibility for your actions. She grabbed my hand. Don't worry, no matter what you face, I'll face it with you. Even if it means going through hell and high water, I'll wait for you to come back and marry you." The smile on my face gradually faded. I slowly and firmly pulled my hand away. "Miss Reed, I hope you understand three things. According to the timeline of the previous life, you and Justin Burke are currently in a passionate relationship. You two are completely smitten, and he has even, as you personally admitted, explored your most intimate parts. So, I ask you, give me one reason why I should marry someone so utterly shameless. Is it because I'm desperate? Or is it because my character has become so despicable that I only deserve to pick up others' trash?" At my merciless words, a strong flush of shame crossed Bianca Reed's face. She was about to speak, but I held up a hand to stop her. "Second, what happened in the last lifetime is in the past. I have no interest in you now. And the deception and games you and Justin Burke played on me in the previous life are still a thorn in my side. If you didn't like me, you could have just told me directly, and I would have completely given up. I would have even wished you happiness. But what did you do? You took advantage of my love and indulgence, hurting me and my family again and again. You ruined my family, leaving my entire family with tragic fates. Why do you think I would be magnanimous enough to let go of such hatred and happily grow old with you, without any grudges?" "Third," I said, pulling out a thick stack of photos from my drawer and tossing them in front of her. "This is the good man you claim to love so much. Take a good look at what your precious Justin Burke has been secretly up to behind your back." It was like a sudden bolt of lightning on a clear day, striking Bianca Reed speechless. Where did these come from?" She stared at the pile of photos, her pupils contracting rapidly, the shock on her face so immense it could have triggered another Cambrian extinction event if it could be converted into snowflakes. I began to explain each photo to her, one by one. "This woman is the daughter of his subordinate supplier. She's 5 years younger than you. That subordinate supplier was able to become a regular fixture of the Reed Group entirely thanks to his daughter's remarkable skills in bed with Justin Burke. And that pair of ample assets." I held up 2 fingers and wiggled them in front of her. 2 cup sizes larger than yours. "And this one? This is his former secretary. She was forced to resign because she couldn't tolerate his unwanted advances and sexual harassment. This secretary is probably the most principled one among all the women in these photos. And this woman, she was a young model Justin Burke used to keep. Later, she turned against your dear Burke because he only gave her $400 a month. They've broken up now. Last month, she even came looking for Justin Burke to settle the final payment, but he refused to pay. And this one in the swimsuit is one of Justin Burke's casual flings. She worked as an atmosphere girl on a yacht. She has an STD. Before, during the holidays, Justin Burke suddenly disappeared for half a month. He went out of town to get treated for an STD he caught from her. After that, he found someone to beat her up. She's held a grudge ever since." Standing beside her, I rattled off the details like a seasoned collector, introducing each woman and girl in the photos for almost 10 minutes. "Now, your dear Burke has caused so much trouble outside and accumulated so many romantic debts. Any one of these people could have broken his legs. Why do you specifically think I'm the biggest suspect?" Tears streamed down her face like broken pearls. Her left cheek showed deep dejection, her right, intense humiliation, and together they formed a face full of sorrow. "So you knew all this in the last lifetime?" I watched her expression and nodded softly. "Even more than this, not less." She broke down, abruptly rising from her chair and grabbing my shirt. "Ethan, why didn't you tell me? Why did you hide it from me?" "The 9th wish." She paused, bewildered. "The 9th what? The 9th wish? Have you forgotten?" I asked. "Last lifetime, the 9th wish you made me fulfill was that no matter what I knew that might affect your relationship with Justin Burke, I was not allowed to tell you. You were afraid I would badmouth him, afraid I would shatter his perfect image in your mind, so you forbade me from saying anything negative about him. That is, you made me complete your 9th wish." "Bianca Reed, a lie doesn't hurt people. The truth is a killing knife." She let go of my shirt, her whole body slumping back like a zombie. To prevent the chair behind her from toppling over, I quickly pulled it away, causing her to fall flat onto the floor. But she lay there as if dead, neither crying out in pain nor making a sound. After a long silence, she suddenly came to her senses and began frantically stuffing the photos into the nearby paper shredder. "Ethan, you're right," she said. "These are all things from the previous life. I shouldn't hold on to them. After all, in this life, he's not my husband yet. He's just made a few more mistakes all men make. It's normal. I forgive him. I felt my jaw drop. I was shocked, confused, and utterly bewildered. After shredding all the photos, she wiped away her tears, then gently wrapped her arms around my neck and kissed my cheek. He's always been a good husband. After all, he didn't bring these things to me to trouble me, did he? In this life, I won't have any involvement with him. I will love you well. You should also let go of your prejudices and stop bothering him. After all, a life of only revenge is a failed life. Let's both calm down. I'll come find you in a few days. With that, she turned and walked away, leaving me bewildered. Watching her retreating figure, I felt as disgusted as if I had chewed on a worm. I pulled out my phone and dialed a number. The Reed family has been too idle lately. Drop a few bombs on them to keep them busy. I heard you're planning to call off the engagement with the Reed family. Is that true? At dinner, my parents, who had been exchanging glances all evening, finally couldn't hold back, with my mom being the first to ask. I nodded. I've already brought it up with Bianca, but she doesn't seem too keen. What do you mean, calling off the engagement out of the blue? Did you two have a fight? She has someone else she likes, and they've already started dating. What? My dad immediately stood up. What does the Reed family mean by this? Negotiating an engagement with our family while letting their daughter fool around outside? What do they take my son for? A spare tire, I summarized lightly, picking up a spare rib. I heard that guy is the Burke family's son. They were college classmates. Bianca apparently was even seen fooling around with him in a car. Son, why didn't you tell your dad and me about such a big incident? I looked nonchalant, pouring myself another bowl of soup and sipping it. Is it really that big of a deal? I think if she doesn't like me, then so be it. A forced marriage isn't happy. Why should I insist on marrying a woman who doesn't like me? Just call it off, right? You're so naive. This isn't just a simple broken engagement. It concerns the reputation of both our foster family and their Reed family. My dad glared at me, exasperated. You don't need to get involved in this. Tomorrow, I'll go to their Reed family and have a good talk with them about this. That flighty daughter of theirs, does she think my son is a child? My mom nudged him, and he finally stopped talking, huffily putting down his bowl and heading straight for his study. Seeing my dad slam the study door shut, my mom sat down next to me. Don't be scared. Your dad isn't mad at you. Don't worry, Mom. I know, but my mom looked a bit awkward. Son, didn't you say you liked Bianca the most? And you two have been together since childhood. Now that this has happened, can you really let her go? What's there to let go of? I put down my bowl and wiped my mouth. Mom, don't worry about me. She already said she doesn't like me, so why should I keep clinging to a crooked tree? It's not like I can't find a partner with my qualifications. What do I have to be afraid of? Anyway, I still have you and Dad. Let Dad resolve the things you older generation decided. I don't have the time to waste on such matters. We have a lot of orders recently, and the company has a pile of things to deal with. Since my rebirth, I felt incredibly content. Both my parents were still alive and healthy. My dad could still fiercely scold me, and my mom still cared for me meticulously. This warmth from my family was irreplaceable by any other emotion. In my previous life, for Bianca Reed, I disregarded their advice and stubbornly went my own way, not only losing the entire group but also accumulating a large amount of external debt, turning the family into a chaotic mess, which led to my dad's fatal cerebral hemorrhage and my mom's suicide by jumping off a building due to shock. Now that I had a chance to start over and make amends, I would not abandon my current resolve for Bianca Reed's whim. So, early the next morning, my dad eagerly took people to the Reed family to demand an explanation. According to my mom, my dad had even prepared in advance, directly going to the Reed family's door with evidence of Bianca Reed and Justin Burke's relationship, slapping the Reed family's coffee table loudly and scattering the photos all over the room, causing Bianca Reed's parents immense embarrassment. I don't know the exact details, but I heard that after Bianca Reed and Justin Burke's affair was completely exposed, Bianca Reed received a severe beating from her furious father, her face swollen from the slaps. With my dad's meddling, my engagement with Bianca Reed was officially called off. However, this was no longer my concern. What I needed to do now was to completely destroy Burke Enterprises and ensure Justin Burke had no chance of retaliation. Justin Burke was still in the hospital recovering from his leg injuries. Even with only the on-duty manager holding the fort, the foster group took advantage of the opportunity to aggressively poach Burke Enterprises trade orders, showing no mercy and only focusing on profit. Even some of the foster group's employees were a bit uncomfortable with this unethical order snatching, but a raise and an extra bonus quickly silenced them, and they eagerly joined the quest to seize orders. You see, there's no such thing as loyalty in this world, it's just a matter of how much one is willing to pay. In the hospital, Justin Burke was furious, raging on his sickbed and demanding to return to the company to take charge. However, that same night, his injuries worsened, requiring a second surgery. This was also thanks to me becoming a shareholder in that joint hospital. 3 days after Justin Burke's second surgery, Burke Enterprises began receiving termination notices from its partners. In business, there are no eternal enemies, and naturally, no eternal friends. No one wanted to sail with a company that couldn't even keep its own orders, a sinking ship waiting to become its own tomb. Thus, the disengaged Bianca Reed came to me again. In my office, Bianca Reed grabbed my hand, rambling and pouring out her heart to me. Ethan, stop, please, for my sake, alright? My only reply was a cold laugh. Your sake? What sake do you have? I know you hate me now, and I know you still blame me, but those are all things from the previous life. In this life, Burke hasn't had a chance to provoke you, and we're just normally dating. Why must you be so ruthless and drive him to ruin? Because I'm petty. I stood up and walked around the desk, standing directly in front of her, almost touching her. I leaned down and met her gaze. In the previous life, he destroyed my family's company, leaving my entire family with no way out. At that time, why didn't you use your sake to speak up for me? Why didn't you use your sake to make him stop? Her face flushed, and she turned her head away, not daring to meet my eyes. I didn't know then. Besides, in the world of business, what sake is there to speak of? She trailed off, suddenly realizing that my current actions against Burke Enterprises were exactly what Burke Enterprises had done to the foster group in the previous life. In fact, I hadn't even gone as far as Justin Burke had. So, was it okay for him to use the same methods, even more despicable ones, against me, but it wasn't okay for me to use them now? Why? I asked. Was our foster family just some expendable entity? Bianca Reed, just a few days ago, you were claiming to love me, saying you wanted to marry me this lifetime. Is this your attitude? Since we were both reborn, what have you done for me? Have you done anything to atone for the sins you committed in the previous life? No, you haven't. You've only been desperately protecting your husband from the previous life. Even though you clearly know how he treated me before, you just ignore it and only demand that I stop. Do you think this is fair to me? I've always protected you, cherished you, giving you my entire life. Was all that worthless in your eyes? Even when he was cheating on you in various ways, you still stood by him and spoke up for him. How do you think I would feel? If I actually married you in the future, how could I trust that you wouldn't betray me again? How can I believe that you've forgotten him? What if he just whistles and lures you away like a dog? What would I do? How could I rest assured and leave the home front in your hands? I'm really afraid that you'd pack your bags and run off to your darling again. So, I advise you now, don't meddle. If there are any problems, I'll take responsibility for myself. You don't need to worry about it. Do you understand? Bianca Reed's shoulders trembled, and large tears streamed down her face. Ethan, do you really not trust me? What do you have that makes me trust you? Or are the foolish things you did before worth my trust? Her eyes were tearful, but her gaze remained stubborn. I'm sorry. I can't make up for the harm I caused you before, but I really can't let you drive Burke to ruin now. With that, she left my office, looking dejected. Before she walked out, I called out to her, wait. She turned around, a flicker of hope in her eyes. Ethan, are you? I forcefully cut off her fantasy. I just want to tell you that if you truly can't remain neutral and insist on opposing me, then if I really hurt the Reed Group, I can only express my deepest regrets. Now, you can leave. The Reed Group was hit with explosive news of tax evasion and illegal smuggling. That very day, customs officials arrived, seizing all financial ledgers and hard drives, and impounding 2 of Reed Group's cargo ships that were about to set sail. Bianca Reed never dreamed that I would actually target the Reed Group, and with such a merciless frontal assault, she had thought I was just bluffing, only realizing the grave danger when disaster struck, that I hadn't been speaking idly that day. This time, she didn't just walk into my office, she shattered it. I leaned back in my chair, calmly watching her furious outburst, then dialed 911. Why? She screamed. Why did you do this? What good does this do you? My gaze was indifferent. Miss Reed, What are you talking about? The Reed Group and the Foster Group are long-term partners. Although we have a cooperative relationship, I believe I have an obligation to safeguard my company's security. Your Reed Group violated the law, and these matters just happened to come to my attention. So, out of the integrity of a law-abiding businessman, reporting your Reed Group's illegal activities should be perfectly reasonable, shouldn't it? And why are you here, smashing up my office? Did you expect me to bear the consequences of your illegal actions just because you committed them? My calm tone suddenly turned savage. Bianca Reed, don't forget, in the previous life, my family's company was devastated. You don't think I'd hold a grudge just because you weren't directly involved, do you? Feeling my hostile tone, she finally came to her senses, but the anger on her face hadn't faded. These matters are all my company's secrets. How did you know? I sneered. Of course, it was the 53rd wish. Bianca Reed's face fell. The 53rd wish? What do you mean, Miss Reed? You probably don't remember what wishes you made to me, do you? That's all right. I can help you recall. I slowly approached her. Last lifetime, because you were constantly entangled with Justin Burke, you had no time to manage the company for a while, so you made a wish for me to temporarily manage your company for you. I stepped closer to her, gently cupping her face. Bianca Reed, do you know how much I loved you then? The fastest way to familiarize myself with a company's operations is to audit its books, and I'm quite adept at it. Plus, you didn't guard against me at all back then, so I only checked the Reed Group's accounts once and discovered a lot of hidden illicit dealings. But I loved you too much then, so I kept all these things buried inside and never told anyone. My grip tightened, twisting her face, smudging the vibrant lipstick on her lips, making it look like blood spreading from her mouth. But luckily, my memory is excellent, so I still remember those accounts very clearly. Bianca, do you know why I remember the 53rd wish so clearly? Tears of regret and humiliation streamed down her cheeks, falling onto my hand, making my voice even angrier. Because the 54th wish was for you to make me crawl on the ground and bark like a dog in front of your girlfriends and friends, and make me lick the wine you spilled on the floor. That day, you were drunk and made a reckless bet, actually using me as the stake. And the day you called me to the bar, I had already pulled 2 all-nighters at your family's company to turn a bad debt around. I felt like the veins in my forehead were about to burst. Bianca Reed, you say I did so much for you, and in the end, you treated me like a dog. Do you think that's fair? Bianca Reed broke down. She threw her arms around me and sobbed uncontrollably. I'm sorry, Ethan. I'm truly sorry. I was drunk that day. I didn't mean to humiliate you. If I hadn't been drunk that day, I would never have made you do that. I pushed her away. Bianca Reed, if you do something, own up to it. What's the use of blaming everything on alcohol? If you were really that drunk, why didn't you call Justin Burke to act like a dog? Why did you choose to call me and make me lose face? Let me tell you, Bianca Reed, I was once foolish, stupid, and naive, but that was for you. I absolutely was worthy. But now, I'm tired of being foolish. I don't want to revolve around you anymore. A flicker of despair crossed her face, but she still wouldn't give up. Ethan, do you still love me? I used to love you very much, even to the point where I felt my life had no meaning without you. But now, I feel that if I don't make sure you and Justin Burke suffer, then my life truly has no meaning. I pointed to a utility knife on the floor. Pick it up. She obediently did as told. The next second, several police officers pushed open the door and walked in. Who called the police? I did. I told the officers. Officer, she has a knife. At that moment, Bianca Reed's spirit completely shattered. Bianca Reed was arrested by the police for property damage and assault. In the detention center, I saw her, looking significantly thinner. It seemed that rich heiresses truly couldn't endure such harsh conditions. When she saw me, her expression was numb. Are you satisfied now? My lips curled slightly. You're thinking too much. I did this because I had to. What do you mean? Bianca Reed, you're about to be sentenced. I asked the judge, and your situation won't result in too severe a sentence. At most a year, but within that year, I should be able to achieve many things. For example, making Burke Enterprises completely disappear. For example, making the Reed Group stumble. I intentionally paused, giving her time to process. And for example, making your family ruined, with no chance of recovery forever. Bianca Reed, you are truly too foolish. The first thing you should have done after being reborn was to quickly unite with Justin Burke and launch a crazy suppression against me. not think about marrying me and atoning for your sins. Unfortunately, you spent your days only thinking about love and missed the opportunity to suppress me. Now you've lost. I guarantee that for the rest of your life, every day will be harder than death." She lowered her head, hiding her face, but I could hear muffled sobs. "I'm sorry, Ethan. I'm sorry about my parents. They had nothing to do with this. Please, let them go. They watched you grow up. I beg you, don't punish my parents because of me. Please, let your parents go." "Did you ever think of sparing my parents when you helped Justin Burke harm me?" Bianca Reed, enjoy your time in prison. I guarantee that this year plus in prison will be the last comfortable days of your life. Half a month later, Bianca Reed's verdict came down. She was sentenced to 1 year and 6 months in prison. On the day the verdict was announced, the Reed group was seized, and Bianca's parents were summoned by the police. In Bianca Reed's 7th month of imprisonment, Burke Enterprises declared bankruptcy. The Reed group, leaderless, also teetered on the brink of collapse due to the scandals that had erupted. In Bianca Reed's 13th month of imprisonment, she received a sentence reduction and was about to be released. However, she would never see her parents again. Due to company pressure, her parents had both committed suicide by poisoning a week prior. Half a month later, Bianca Reed walked out of the prison gates and got into a black sedan. From then on, the heiress of the Reed group completely vanished from public view and was never seen again. On a hillside estate in the suburbs, tall walls adorned with barbed wire and surveillance cameras attested to the owner's caution. I walked into the estate's villa, changed into comfortable home clothes, and then pushed open the study door. I casually took a book from the bookshelf and settled comfortably into a recliner to read. The flames dancing in the fireplace licked at the logs, crackling pleasantly, merging with the heavy snow outside the window to create a beautiful scene that left me feeling completely relaxed. Wearing cat ears and a collar, the naked Bianca Reed was on all fours, obediently lying on the floor, looking at me with watery eyes. This was her 100th wish. She had said that if I spared Justin Burke's life, she would do anything for me in return. I had agreed. She was now my pet cat, occasionally serving as my plaything for release. I stroked the fluffy tail behind her. She docilely licked my fingers, then lay back down by the bed. "Do you want him to come in?" I asked. A flicker of hesitation crossed Bianca Reed's eyes, but she ultimately shook her head gently. Meow. I was very satisfied with her answer. I pressed the call button on the desk. "Butler Lynn." The butler entered, unperturbed by the small cat lying beside me. "Yes, sir? It's snowing heavily outside. Add 2 more blankets to the doghouse. Don't let that lame dog freeze to death." "Understood, sir. 2 blankets. Don't let the dog freeze to death." The butler briefly repeated my words, then turned and left to make the arrangements. Through the window, a servant braved the blizzard, carrying 2 blankets to the doghouse in the yard. He threw the 2 blankets in front of the luxurious doghouse. The equally naked